So certain sometimes there are issues within politics where uh, the normal campaign issues don't count. And so what do I mean by that? Sometimes there are things here where we run into moral issues. We run into questions of morality. We run into questions of right and wrong, good and bad, good or evil. Um, and so with President Trump, there's a lot of that. And in specific, there's a lot of revenge. All right. And some people see it as good. I think Trump loves it, right? He savors it. He seems like a man that doesn't hesitate to mete out revenge to those who he deems deserve it. I've come across a lot of people like that. I think the nation of Guyana is a nation that, as a whole, pretty much operates politically as an infinite revenge cycle. Okay. Even the people in power are daily seeking out ways to mete out revenge on their enemies from something that had happened 20 years ago. And it's this is one of those things where I think if you want to know why certain nations become dysfunctional perpetually, permanently, why they can't build, it's because they can't live without revenge being the driving force behind almost everything they do. And you can look at a nation like Japan, for example. World War II, caused them a horrible defeat. They had nuclear bombs dropped on them. They could have decided to, from there forward, to do everything in their power to seek revenge on the United States and on their enemies. Instead, they surrendered. They partnered with the United States. They partnered with us, and they rebuilt an entirely new society, an advanced society. They could have went in the opposite direction. They could have gone the way of many, many African nations. And so I've noticed even online, people of Japanese descent who are in the political zone, like on X, they like to point out to African nations because right now there's a big fight socially between Africans and the Japanese, where a lot of Africans are out there talking trash about Japanese. And the Japanese response, especially from the conservative Japanese, is like, well, look at you guys in Africa. You guys haven't built crap. You've never had a nuclear bomb dropped on you. And yet look at your societies. You've got nothing going on, right? And whereas they point to themselves and say, look what we did, even with nukes dropped on us within a few decades, we were totally transformed. Well, it's not about, who's smarter. It's not about which society or culture is more organized or more able. To me, it all comes down to which society can move on and move forward without seeking revenge of every second of every day, right? And that was Japan's secret, I believe, is they put revenge aside and they decided to focus on rebuilding. And they are just, I believe, the perfect example of why politically revenge never works. No matter how bad it is, even if a nuke is dropped on you, it's not a good idea to try to take out revenge. It's not a good idea. And so with President Trump, one of the reasons why I didn't vote for him, and I would say it publicly so everyone knows, I did not vote for President Trump. As a matter of fact, when I went to vote for Kamala Harris, I brought both of my kids into the voting booth for them to see, for them to witness themselves with their own eyes, their father vote for Kamala Harris. I did it mainly because Trump ran a campaign based on revenge. And even though he may have every right to take out revenge, he may have had it, even though most people would agree with him and say, yeah, revenge is a good thing. To me, revenge is never warranted, ever, ever. Now, I did a recording yesterday, and I spoke about some of the difficulties that I have with speaking because I have extensive nerve damage. Like now, I have to swallow. It's very hard. That's my struggle. I'm fine. I'm good. I can live through that. But what happens is, um, I'm in this place now, and I have my own platform. I have a really good career going when it comes to corporate intelligence research and political intelligence research. I've had it going for a long time now, but I would have never have gotten on this path in this world. I would have never been able to write the book Gold Bar Bob, co-author it with Isabel Vincent, if I had gotten stuck on, avenging or getting revenge for the people who had attacked me. I could have become an activist against the police. I could have been a living example to become popular about how the police don't look out for black people and they just, do whatever it takes to help white people who are out here killing us and murdering us and hurting us. I could have made it a life mission, and I could have just stuck to that, and I could have went every single day of my life looking to take out revenge for what had happened to me, looking to get revenge for these metal plates in my face, looking to get revenge for the fact that it's hard for me to swallow when I speak. I could have done that. I refused. As a matter of fact, uh, the night that I was attacked and almost killed, my family came to visit me. And when they came, my brothers were like, "That's it. We're gonna go. We're gonna go home. We're gonna get everybody together. And we're gonna find these people, and we're gonna destroy them." And I stopped them. I was in that emergency room bed. I said, "Look, absolutely not." I forced everyone to come around me, and I forced everyone to pray with me. And in my prayer, I asked for forgiveness for these men who had attacked me that night. And I've never looked back. I've never looked back. I forgave them. Yes, I'm speaking about it now, but I'm using it as an example. And I'm trying to show people why on this platform I'm trying to help because some people are saying that it's not making sense. I'm all over the place on things. Well, I'm trying to make sense. I'm trying to help you guys understand where I'm coming from and why, for example, I can support President Trump with what he's doing with the war in Iran. I can support him on other things, but at the same time, I didn't vote for him. The reason why is because of the revenge factor. President Trump has an opportunity to be one of the greatest presidents in American history, but he's losing that opportunity because he is distracting himself with trying to get revenge on the Democrats for what they did in previous years, how they stole the election from him, how they attacked his family, how they did lawfare against him. And I'm not saying that's right what they did to him. Okay, I'm not saying he doesn't have a right to be angry. The problem is he's taking it too far and trying to use the U.S. government, trying to use his office as president to get revenge on these people. It's wrong, and it's a distraction, and it's tearing our country apart. At some point in time, President Trump has to realize he has to look at his position right now in history, and he has to realize that he has an opportunity now to put down his sword against the Democrats and instead offer them a welcoming hand, and so that they can work together to fix some of the biggest problems our nation has ever faced. He's got to do it. He That choice is there for him to do. I don't see him doing it, and that's sad, because if he were to do that, if he were to extend a helping hand to the Democrats, if he were to lay down his weapons against them and stop going after them for revenge, there are so many things that could be accomplished in our country right now for our people and for the world. It's mind blowing just what is available to do. But what it would take is for this one man to put aside all of his anger and all of his revenge to see the bigger picture and to see, you know what? Maybe the greatest revenge is to be one of the most successful presidents in American history. Maybe that's the greatest revenge of all, right? But in order for him to reach that place, he's going to have to work with the Democrats on very huge issues. The Iran war is one of them. The budget, health care, immigration, across the board. There are so many issues where Trump has the opportunity to lay down the revenge and to grab on to working with the other side for the betterment of our country, for the betterment of the world. And so yesterday, I had a back and forth on Facebook concerning Guyana and this individual named Mark Benchcomp. Okay, he has his own show, and I've known him for a long time. And one of the reasons why I tried to befriend him is because he had gone through a set of events in his life that were just horrendous. Okay, he was imprisoned in Guyana for several years, thrown into solitary confinement for being a traitor to Guyana because he helped spearhead some type of revolt on the ground in the country. And so he was deemed a traitor and he was thrown away into prison in Guyana, solitary confinement for years. And I knew that, that experience, that trauma, led to him to have the drive that he has to be a voice for positive change in Guyana, for people, for him to voice, his experience with the PPP regime there and how brutal they are and how they just, they really don't have much love for many people, okay? And so he's been exposing them for years, ever since, his imprisonment. And I celebrate that with him because they need to be exposed. But one of the reasons why I befriended him is because I saw that he was being just totally consumed with revenge from what they did to him and what they continue to do to him because they ostracize him. He hasn't been able to live he's been able to live a good life. Don't get me wrong, but he hasn't been able to live a life without having some type of serious pressure coming from the leadership of Guyana. Okay, and it's he handles it, but it's really hard. I know it's hard for him to deal with. Um, and so I tried to befriend him because, like I said, I had the experience of suffering a calamity in my life, being a victim and a brutal calamity, and my entire life changed. I almost died. Everything changed on me, but I took a different road than him. Instead of me trying to seek out revenge and go after the police who didn't help me, who tried to blame me, I could have become an activist, and I didn't because I got away from the revenge. I didn't want it, but that process of my life taught me that there's a lot of value in moving forward and putting the revenge behind. And so I tried to befriend Mark to try to, help him get through just the horrible tragedy that he was forced to be pushed through. And I thought I could, as someone who had experienced something similar to him, a life altering event that was no fault of my own, something that was so extreme that happened to me that I did not deserve. I thought if I could share with him some of the things I learned, some of the wisdom along the way, that maybe it could help him heal and help him move forward. But it didn't. It didn't. Instead, I think he now views me as an enemy. He views me as an enemy because he knows in his heart of hearts that if the PPP were to start implementing real change in Guyana, that I would support them. I would, because I don't hold that revenge on them. That's a betrayal to Mark in his mind. I'm betraying him because he needs his revenge. And so I had to come out publicly and put what I put on Facebook because people are confusing things. People are thinking that me and Mark are friends and everything. No, we're not. The revenge thing is too much for me to handle. I can't do it. I can't do it. And I can't see a nation like Guyana have to continue to go through cycles of revenge, of back and forth, back and forth. It's too hard. It's too hard on the people of Guyana. At some point in time, the leadership on all sides have to put down the revenge and have to choose love, not for each other, but for the people who they represent. They have to love the people of Guyana enough to be able to put their vengeance aside for each other. That's the key in Guyana. That's what has to happen. The revenge has to be put to the side so that the people of Guyana can flourish. There's no other way. And so I tried with Mark, but it's not going to happen. The PPP have terrorized him so bad, he's not going to change. He will always want to be at war with them. He will always seek out his revenge. And even if he gets it, I don't think it will satisfy him because revenge, even when you get it, it just opens the door for more hurt and pain, more trauma. And so this is why I couldn't vote for President Trump, not with a clear conscience, because he campaigned on taking revenge out on the Democrats. And even though many people can see it and say, well, he deserves to be, he should try to get revenge. And what they did was really bad. No, you can't use the office of the presidency for your own personal hit jobs, on political hit jobs, trying to get revenge on people. You can't do that. It's wrong. So that's why I voted for Kamala Harris, right? I'm not a huge Democrat. I'm not a Democrat at all. I didn't support most of her platform. But what I did know was that she wasn't trying to turn the presidency into a revenge machine. And that hits close to home for me. I understand what can come from a situation when you choose love over revenge. When you choose love over revenge, it's transformative. It brings life to everyone around you, everything. Imagine a man as powerful as President Trump putting down the vengeance and grabbing onto love, not for the Democrats, but for the people of America, that he loves us enough that he's willing to put his own personal beefs aside in order so that we all can move forward and be prosperous. That's what we need in a leader. And I just felt like he wouldn't be able to do it. That's why I didn't vote for him. And so going forward, that's what I'm calling on when it comes to President Trump, is for him to stop going after the Democrats. Not because I'm a Democrat supporter, but because it's not helping the nation. And even though the Democrats are really, 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 man, they are really, as a party, just a disgusting group of people. I got to tell you, they're horrible. They're bad. That's not to say the Republicans are horrible too, but I can understand why people would get so mad at the Democrats and their party. I mean, they are ruthless. They don't mind getting revenge on people. They do it all the time. And so it's almost like it's rightfully so. People should get it out on. No, someone has to be the bigger person here. Someone has to step up to the plate. Someone has to find it in themselves, the vision and the courage and the strength to rise above this low level thinking and to bring some love into the situation. Like I say, not for them, love for your nation, love for the people in your nation, for the children, for the women, for the orphans, for the hardworking men and women who bust their butts every day and don't get thanks, but they do the right thing all the time. They need help. Fighting the Democrats doesn't help them. I don't know why people aren't understanding this. And so there's a whole cottage industry surrounding Trump, attorneys, political operatives. They're all egging him on. They're all like, yeah, come on. We got a new plan to get revenge because they all want to get paid. And they're feeding off of that revenge. But it's getting us nowhere as a nation. It's getting us absolutely nowhere as a nation. It's tearing us down. That's what's happening. So for those of you who are wondering, why is he all over the place on different issues? Well, because I'm rooted in an issue like this. You know, I so oppose vengeance. Revenge is for God. And not only that, but the best revenge is to have success, is to succeed even though your enemies tried to take you out. The best way to get revenge on them is to succeed anyway, to succeed in spite of their hate, in spite of their attacks, and to do it while smiling at them. Yeah, that's true revenge. But you can't get that if you're constantly focused on your enemy and focused on what they did to you in the past and focused on what you want to do to hurt them in response. If that's your focus, you're never going to be able to succeed in your own boots. you're never going to be able to write your own story. You're going to be stuck with your enemy. So, whatever your story is in the end, your enemy will be a big part of it. Why would you want to do that if you're the president of the United States? Don't you want your own story? Well, the only way for Trump to get his own story is he's going to have to let this vengeance go. He's going to have to let the revenge go. He's going to have to focus in on America, on the hard working men and women here who need a lot, and we're not getting it. That's where the focus needs to be. And he has to work with the Democrats to get it. That's the key. And if he can do that, not only will it benefit all of us, benefit America, but it will make him the greatest president we've ever had, I believe.